Since 1972, UNESCO has been making a contribution to peace building and sustainable development in its member states, thanks to its unique remit in earth sciences. What is a UNESCO Global Geopark? They are the most recent UNESCO site designations for protecting geological sites of international significance. The 195 members of UNESCO ratified the creation of a new UNESCO label, the UNESCO Global Geoparks, on the 17th of November 2015. The decision was taken by member states at UNESCO's General Conference, the governing body of the organisation. This expressed governmental recognition of the importance of managing outstanding geological sites and landscapes in a holistic manner. As of 2021, there are 161 UNESCO Global Geoparks in 44 countries. So how do we distinguish UNESCO Global Geoparks from UNESCO World Heritage Sites and UNESCO Biosphere Reserves, which are the other two prestigious labels of UNESCO site designations? The UNESCO Global Geoparks are sites and landscapes of international geological significance as independently verified by scientific professionals. It's important that they're identified as single, unified geographical areas. They cannot be made up of separate, smaller areas within a region. They will typically have a multitude of sites of specific interest and must be contained within the designated area. Within the geopark, there will be links between the area's geological heritage and its natural, cultural, and intangible heritage. So in a region, local people will celebrate their unique geological heritage and combine those features with their rich cultural heritage, their landscape, wildlife, food, people, storytelling. Each one combined is used to promote the region's earth history. So what are the advantages of UNESCO Global Geoparks for UNESCO member states? A UNESCO Global Geopark uses its geological heritage in connection with all other aspects of the area's natural and cultural heritage to enhance awareness and understanding of key issues facing society, such as using our planet's resources sustainably, reducing the impact of natural disasters, mitigating the effects of climate change. The key to solving these issues is that the UNESCO Global Geoparks should use that heritage in connection with all other aspects of that area's natural and cultural heritage to promote awareness of key issues facing society in the context of the dynamic planet we all live in, including, but not limited to, increasing knowledge and understanding of geoprocesses, geohazards, climate change, the need for the sustainable use of Earth's natural resources, the evolution of life, and the empowerment of indigenous peoples. They'll be managed with a holistic concept of protection, education, and sustainable development. The creation of innovative local enterprises, new jobs, and high-quality training courses is stimulated as new sources of revenue are generated through geotourism, whilst the geological resources of the area are protected. By raising awareness of the importance of the area's geological heritage in history and society today, UNESCO Global Geoparks give local people a sense of pride in their region and strengthen their identification with the area. If you would like to become part of UNESCO's Global Geoparks family, please contact us.
Welcome to our live stream, and it's perfect timing as live in Paris at the UNESCO headquarters in France, the Chair of the Programme and External Relations Committee has just begun her report. That is the distinguished delegate from Saudi Arabia, who is chairperson of the Programme and External Relations Commission. Those of you joining us from around the world, interested to find out what is happening about geoparks, just to let you know, they were discussed initially last week by the Programme and External Relations Commission of the UNESCO Executive Board. And now what's going to happen is all of the things discussed by that commission will be presented by the chairperson there to the entire executive board. So we're about to go through a long list of different proposals, and also the chairperson will give a report on the general discussions that happened in that meeting. Then what will happen is, unless an individual country asks for the various items within that report to be voted on separately, at the end of the report of the chairperson there, the entire report will be approved in one vote, and at that point we will have 8 new UNESCO Global Geoparks. Thank you for joining us here live from the United Kingdom. My name's Jack Matthews. I am Geoheritage Officer here at the Charnwood Forest, aspiring UNESCO Global Geopark. And as we work towards UNESCO status, we're very pleased to be joining many of you around the world today as we celebrate 8 new UNESCO Global Geoparks, joining the global family of global geoparks. We'll find a little bit more about those geoparks in a moment, but what we're going to have to do is listen in to the chairperson now, and as we go through the report of what's called the PX Commission, the Programme and External Affairs Relations Commission, the PX Commission there, I'll just guide you through with some commentary in the background as we find out how close we're getting to the announcement of 8 new geoparks. But just remember, it hasn't happened until the gavel falls and you see the Honourable Representative of Serbia, who is chairing the Executive Board today. Let's listen in to see what the delegate is saying.
Representing the Director General, the Director of the Bureau of Strategic Planning explained that in the future, in line with the General Conference resolution and annual C5 implementation report, consolidating both program and financial information will be complemented by a strategic report to be submitted in the 3rd year of the quadrennium. He noted that impact-oriented report will also highlight trends and upcoming opportunities, make proposals for the way forward, and will facilitate decision-making and inform the preparation of the future C5 documents. 19 members of the board and 4 observers took the floor during the debate. They thanked the Secretariat for the success in achieving the expected result despite the restrictive measures introduced across the world to combat COVID-19 pandemic. They raised various questions pertaining to the implementation of the programs reported in the APIR. Some delegations noted that the performance targets were reported as exceeded in some cases and requested further information or clarification. One delegation expressed concern that a questionnaire sent to member states for the World Atlas of Languages did not recognize Haitian Creole as a language and requested clarification. Moreover, highlighting UNESCO's powerful responsibility in upholding human rights in Afghanistan, member states underlined the need for tangible action to guarantee girls' and women's rights to education, the safety of journalists, and a free and pluralistic media in the country, with one member state seeking clarity on whether a new mechanism would be developed to respond to these challenges. In his reply, the Director of the Bureau of Strategic Planning noted that reprogramming efforts had taken place throughout the biennium in order to respond to member states' specific needs following the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. He underscored that resource mobilization in UNESCO's field offices has grown significantly and that many member states are establishing self-benefiting and multi-stakeholder arrangements in countries. He underlined that this will serve to improve UNESCO's relevance and ability to respond swiftly to challenges at both the country and global levels. He also reassured member states that the suggestions made on the reporting will be fully taken into account. The Assistant Directors General of the program sectors provided additional information in response to the specific questions asked by member states on different activities implemented and reported on in the APIR. ADG Education explained that in the absence of recognized government in Afghanistan, activities such as UNESCO's major literacy program are being implemented directly through communities. She also noted.
So as you can see at the moment, the chairperson of the Programme and External Relations Commission there, who is the distinguished representative, Princess Haifa Al Mogrin of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, issuing the report of the PX Commission. Currently, she is leading representatives of the UNESCO Executive Board through agenda item 4.1. This is Analytical Program Implementation Report, where delegates have been discussing the implementation of previously adopted policies. So one of the tasks of the Executive Board is to look at programs and decisions that have previously been agreed, in this case from the General Conference of UNESCO, and check that those decisions are being followed up. And here we are discussing the Analytical Program and Implementation Report. We will be going through them and hearing the reports of the Executive Board on such issues as the Framework for Culture and Arts Education, and also SDG 4, Education 2030, Global Regional Coordination and Support. It's not clear what order things are going to come up in, but let's make sure we're listening in so that we don't miss the discussions of the UNESCO Global Geoparks. Of course, if you have a question, if you put it in the chat of either Facebook or YouTube, we'll try and get that answered for you as soon as possible.
Through a sound scientific process, and that he stands ready to provide further clarifications bilaterally with concerns delegations. Deliberations on the draft decision resumed at the opening of the Commission's second meeting. The corresponding document recommended draft decision on this item with amendments is included in paragraph 2 of the written report. One delegation wished to recognize the important role of neighboring countries and donors in improving conditions and safeguarding human rights in Afghanistan. Another delegation urged the Secretariat to ensure that strong action is taken to ensure the effective implementation of the draft decision once adopted, with one delegation expressing the need to ensure adequate mobilization of extra budgetary resources. The Commission then considered items 22 and 23 of the agenda, Occupied Palestine, item 22, and the implementation of 41C, Resolution 51, and 212 EX Decision 44, concerning educational and cultural institutions in the occupied Arab territories, item 23. It was proposed that those two items be considered together without debate, taking into consideration the efforts undertaken by all concerned parties in view of preparing these texts. The representative of the Director General gave a brief introduction underlining the importance of collective efforts to maintain the consensus and to find complex solutions to sensitive situations through dialogue and within UNESCO's mandate. He thanked all delegations concerned for supporting the Secretariat's mediation. As chair, and in recognition of the willingness and cooperation of all concerned parties to come together on a mutually agreed text, I propose that the draft decisions be adopted by consensus, which was immediately accepted. The recommended decisions are contained in paragraphs 10 and 11 of the written report. Please tell me if I'm talking too fast for the interpretation. The Commission then moved to the examination of item 5.1, part C, on a framework for culture and arts education. This item was introduced by the representative of the Director General, the ADG for Culture, who recalled that following an initiative proposed by the United Arab Emirates and then integrated into UNESCO's approved program and budget for 2022-2025 in 41C5, the Secretariat has initiated a global consultation of member states, partners, and stakeholders. The outcome of this consultation will feed into UNESCO's framework for culture and arts education. The ADG thanks the Republic of Korea and the UAE for their support to the development of the framework. 23 members of the...
Thank you for those joining us live. This is a live feed of the discussions from the 214th session of the UNESCO Executive Board in Paris as we await the final approval of 8 new UNESCO Global Geoparks. In the chair there is the President of the Programme and External Relations Commission giving her report, and when this report is fully read through and hopefully approved altogether, we will have 8 new UNESCO Global Geoparks. We are just currently, it looks like the chairperson there is going through in order. So at the moment we have agenda items being read around the follow-up of decisions made previously at the Executive Board and General Conference. Programme issues, this is how UNESCO delivers its business. And then we're going to hear about a framework for culture and arts education. There's a few more points to be discussed by this commission report. We're probably going to hear about UNESCO and the ocean, but we are, I think, a few minutes away before the chairperson's going to mention UNESCO Global Geoparks, and then we just need to wait a little bit longer, and we will see the distinguished delegate from Serbia in the chair of the Executive Board lowering the gavel on the report and approving that. And at that point, we'll have 8 new geoparks. Let's tune back in.
Will spearhead discussions on how to adapt the culture sector to today's world, building on the existing global and regional momentum on cultural policy dialogue, including the historical inclusion of culture in the G20 agenda. He thanked Saudi Arabia, Italy, and Indonesia for the commitments they have made in this respect. 24 members of the board and 1 observer took the floor during the debate, with the debate continuing on during the following meeting. They expressed full support for the organization of Mondiacult 2022, as well as their appreciation to its host country, Mexico. Recalling the importance of the cultural and creative industries in contributing to inclusive economic development and resilience, they underlined the need to adapt cultural policies in the context of digital transformation and upholding a rights-based and cross-sectoral approach. They also inquired on the modalities foreseen for the organization of the conference, as well as on how its recommendations would be embedded within future international processes. In this respect,
this is a discussion on the World Conference on Cultural Policies and Sustainable Development to be hosted in Mexico.
Culture set out the planned timetable for the consultations leading to Mondiacult 2022 and the drafting of the outcome document. She explained that discussions were underway on means of ensuring the broadest possible participation, including through remote broadcasting, noting that the conference would amplify the growing momentum of regional and global cultural policy dialogue. She stated that member states may wish to further position culture as a public good for peace and security as a strategic outcome. Excuse me. The draft decision recommended by the Commission with its amendment is included in paragraph 9 of the written report. The Commission then moved to item 29 on UNESCO and the ocean, which was supported by 51 member states. Introducing the item, the delegate of Egypt applauded UNESCO's important work on ocean matters and underlined the high cost of inaction in protecting our ocean, recalling the recent international gatherings to address threats to the oceans posed by unsustainable human activity, starting with the One Ocean Summit in Brest, to be followed by the United Nations Ocean Conference in Lisbon and the COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh. He explained that the draft decision had been developed through an open-ended consultation. 28 members of the board and 3 observers took the floor during the debate. In their interventions, they expressed overwhelming support for the proposal and related draft decision, highlighting the unique opportunities presented by the United Nations Decade of Ocean Sciences for Sustainable Development. Several delegates urged that collaboration on ocean sciences be strengthened within UNESCO, particularly within the Intergovernmental Hydrological Program and the culture sector. 2 delegates requested that Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission regional subsidiary bodies, namely IOC Africa, IO Caribe, Westpac, and IOC Indio, be recognized as regional coordination frameworks for the decade. Several delegations also called for an open discussion on the implications of the CBID 2030 initiative, including on the ownership and accessibility of data collected. Furthermore, one delegation added that consultations with member states must be held on efforts related to CBID mapping. Another delegation underlined the need for control mechanisms on the use of plastic. In response, the ADG for the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission expressed his appreciation for the work of Egypt and other member states who had contributed to the draft decision. He invited landlocked countries to join.
Thank you to those joining us live for this live stream of events from the UNESCO Executive Board. We are just moments away of the first discussion of geoparks by the full Executive Board in this final plenary session, Wednesday, the 13th of April 2020. In a moment, Princess Haifa Al-Mogrin, as chair of the Programme and External Relations Committee, will present what happened in the Commission on geoparks. It will be quite brief, and then we'll have to wait a few more moments for the entire report to be approved. And at that point, we will have 8 new UNESCO Global Geoparks. We're just waiting to hear about the Road to Peace item, and then we will hear very shortly about UNESCO Global Geoparks.
And would not be commercialized. The Commission proposed that draft decisions found in paragraph 15 of the written report be adopted with amendments. The next point considered was item 27 on the Road to Peace, Dialogue and Action for Tolerance and Intercultural Understanding, which was supported by 74 member states. Although this item has originally been suggested for consideration without debate by the preparatory group, following a request, I opened the floor for a debate. Introducing the item, the delegation of Andorra explained that it proposed an initiative to promote intercultural dialogue and understanding. It is based on 4 pillars: research, capacity development, advocacy, and activities during the Global Forum Against Racism and Discrimination. 20 board members and 3 observers took the floor. They overwhelmingly welcomed the initiatives, highlighting UNESCO's critical role in promoting intercultural dialogue, human rights, and a culture of peace and nonviolence. Several delegates also emphasized the importance of the role of women and young people in promoting peace and the need to build anti-racism and anti-discrimination at the core of UNESCO's program. 2 delegates asked UNESCO to ensure that a different artist and region be showcased at each annual global forum in order to ensure diversity and geographic balance. Response: ADG for Social Human Sciences thanked Andorra for their initiative and welcomed member states' unanimous support for the promotion of peace and intercultural dialogue, noting that many artists would be leveraged in the implementation of this initiative, including by drawing on UNESCO's goodwill ambassadors and artists of peace. She explained that the organization is developing a data-led framework to foster intercultural dialogue and that the initiative will be closely linked to the multi-partner global forum. Excuse me. The recommended draft decision on this part with its amendment is included in paragraph 13 in the written report. The Commission then moved to the item 25 on the proclamation of the World Russian Language Day, which was supported by 13 member states. A motion was moved by one delegation to adjourn consideration for this item, sine die, in conformity with Rule 42 of the Rules of Procedure of the Executive Board. This motion was duly seconded. A delegate requested that the vote to decide on this motion.
The Geopark motion will be up after this point.
6 votes against, 27 abstentions, 4 members were absent at the time of the vote. The item was adjourned sine die with the details of the vote set out in paragraph 12 of the written report. 11 members of the board took the floor to explain their votes. The Commission then examined item 9 on UNESCO Global Geoparks, which was considered without debate. After a short introduction by the Assistant Director General for Natural Sciences, the Commission recommended the adoption of the draft decision without amendments, which is included in paragraph 8 of the written report. After the adoption, one observer took the floor to thank the ADG for the sector's efforts on geoparks. Esteemed colleagues, the Commission then moved to consider item 6 on SDG 4, Education 2030, Global Regional Coordination and Support. And this was a very long debate, in fact. In her presentation, ADG Education.
So there we have the first part, slightly underwhelming, but this is a long and bureaucratic process. And this is the way things work at UNESCO. There we saw Princess Haifa Al Mogherin of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia acting as chair of the Programme and External Relations Commission, giving the discussion there of what happened last week in her commission. She mentioned there that the geoparks were put forward and a draft recommendation was accepted by the Commission. She also mentioned that one observer took the floor. That was the distinguished delegate from Sweden. Sweden, of course, particularly excited this year as its very first UNESCO Global Geopark is set to be approved. We will now have to wait a few moments while the rest of the report of the PX Commission is read. They've got a few points to go through. Let's just look. They're going to hear the report on SDG 4. They're going to hear about the problems and development prospects for the UNESCO Chairs Programme. These are the professors in various universities who hold UNESCO chairs. There's going to be the point around the UNESCO strategy for technical and vocational education and training, and then some decisions on programme issues, the elimination of racial discrimination, racial hatred and racial hate crimes in the world, and the slave route project. The chair will continue to read through all of those, and then the chair of the whole executive board will put that to a vote, and that will be the key moment. While we're waiting, let's just have this quick video from our partners Discover Charnwood, very quick, to learn a little bit about what makes Charnwood Forest so special.
It's time to discover Charnwood. Perfectly located right in the center of the country and enjoying superb transport links, there is no better place to visit, work and live. For nearly 600 million years, the powerful forces of nature have been sculpting our breathtaking landscapes. Evidence of our unique geological history is scattered among picturesque villages and can be experienced up close in the rocks of Bradgate Park and Beacon Hill. Such is the importance of Charnwood Forest, it is now an aspiring UNESCO Global Geopark. At the heart of this dramatic landscape is the dynamic university and market town of Loughborough, home to the last major bell foundry in the UK, 800-year-old markets and the Great Central Heritage Railway. Future. Our award-winning Loughborough University and cutting-edge science and enterprise parks are leading world-class research, innovation and sport, and nurturing the stars and heroes of future generations. Discover Charnwood, a fascinating destination promising a non-stop voyage from ancient origins to future potential. In Charnwood, we are shaping tomorrow's world today.
Thank you to those of you who are joining us all around the world. Fear not, I'm keeping an eye on what's happening in Paris so that we can get that final approval. The chair of the PX Commission is running through the rest of the items. She's already introduced the Geopark item, and we're just waiting for that final approval, for the gavel to fall and for 8 new Geoparks to be approved. But let's just take a moment while we're waiting for delegates in Paris to approve that, to have a look at who are these 8 new UNESCO Global Geoparks. So what I'm going to do is take you through these 8 And let's have a look at the details of their nomination, which they've given to UNESCO as part of this. So I'm going to be reading some of their descriptions. The first is Geopark Reese. Apologies to all 8 of them if I pronounce it wrong. Geopark Reese from Germany. They list that they have as part of their geopark 5 districts with 53 cities and municipalities, of which 46 communities lie in Bavaria. And in their geopark, they have a 14.6 million year old meteorite crater, which is situated in southern Germany and is considered the most intensely studied impact structure among the nearly 200 known craters worldwide. And it's been researched since the 1960s. Certainly sounds like a very interesting place to visit, not only for geologists, but perhaps also for budding astronauts and astronomers as well. Next up, we have the Platterburgens Geopark from Sweden. As I've already mentioned, that is going to be the first geopark from UNESCO Global Geopark from Sweden. It's located in West Sweden, has an area of nearly 3,700 square kilometers with nearly 300,000 inhabitants, and is situated on a nice terrain, part of the Fennoscandian Shield. So it sounds like we'll be getting some very interesting metamorphic rocks from the Platterburgens Geopark. 1.7 billion years worth of geology, and also the great story of some pre-Cambrian erosion and denudation as well. So it sounds like a great diversity of rocks going on there. And of course, the Quaternary deposits in the most recent 3 billion years, telling a brilliant recent glacial history too. Next up, we have the Natur and Geopark from Melodal in Luxembourg. They are situated in eastern Luxembourg and include 11 municipalities, some 256 square kilometers. They have landscapes as on the eastern rim of the Paris Basin and are most famous for their sandstones they've got Triassic, Lower Jurassic sediments, and some of their hikes have been voted to be some of the best in Europe. If you like a good hike and a walk around, certainly a trip to the Melodal, soon to be UNESCO Global Geopark, should be top of your list. We then go over to Romania, where the Buzau Land Geopark, as I believe it's said in English, is a hilly and mountainous territory covering more than 1,000 square kilometers and is located in the Carpathian Bend area of Romania. It's a very rural area with 18 municipalities and 45,000 people. The southern part is characterized by large depressions surrounded by rolling hills. It sounds lovely. And the territory mostly consists of Eocene to Quaternary rocks with rare Cretaceous and Jurassic occurrences too. It exposes 40 million years of mostly uninterrupted geology and preserves fossils of marine endemic species, terrestrial vegetation, as well as mammals and birds from the last glaciation. Certainly sounds like if you're interested in some Quaternary fossils, you need to take a trip to Romania, to their soon-to-be new UNESCO Global Geopark. Then, and this is the one I want to learn how to pronounce most because I feel like I'm messing this one up, the Salposelkö, I think it's an at the end, Geopark in Finland. This will be, congratulations to Finland, their second geopark in as many years. They have a few already, but they got one last year and they're going to get one this year. Congratulations. It's located in southern Finland in the Finnish Lakeland area, has a surface area of more than 4,500 square kilometers, of which more than a fifth is water and half is covered by forest. It's got a quartzite residual mountain, 223 meters above sea level, and it has 177,000 inhabitants. And it has been awarded the title of European Green Capital 2021 by the European Commission. It is proposed that the geopark ridges appear mainly as large ice contact deltas. Here they are at their most diverse and prominent due to the location of an interlobate region of two main ice lobes. The long feeding esker chains radiate in a northerly direction according to the direction of the two ice lobes. Sounds like not only do they have some wonderful Paleoproterozoic bedrock, that's quite old, but also some very recent Quaternary deposits. It sounds like if you like some geomorphodiversity, then you need to get down to that wonderful new UNESCO Global Geopark in Finland. Next up is the Kefalonia Ithaca Geopark in Greece. It is located in western Greece and is an island complex belonging to the Heptanese Ionian Sea. It has a surface area of more than 3,000 square kilometers, including more than 900 square kilometers of land and more than 2,000 square kilometers of marine area, with more than 35,000 inhabitants. It's located very close to the Greek arc, which is tectonically active, and you can see the features of two geotectonic zones. There's Jurassic and Miocene and Triassic rocks, and you can see some alpine formations as well. There are caves, valleys, sinkholes, bays. So it sounds like they've got geodiversity related to rocks and morphology. And I've seen some pictures and it just looks stunning. So I'm sure we're all going to be invited very soon to see the wonderful new Kefalonia Ithaca Geopark in Greece. And then the first of two new geoparks from Brazil, the Caminhos dos Caninos do Sul Geopark. I believe that means the Valleys of the South Geopark in southern Brazil. It's in the extreme southeastern state of Santa Catarina, and the extreme northeast of the state of Rio Grande do Sul. It has a total area of more than 2,800 square kilometers with 24,000 inhabitants. It varies in height from sea level to 1,346 meters above altitude in less than 40 kilometers. The geological history, they have older sedimentary units comprising terrigenous sequences. They've got Permian rocks, Jurassic rocks. They talk about the history of the Gondwana supercontinent and the Mesozoic evolution of that, and the newly created South American continent. I've got to visit all of these, clearly. What a wonderful geopark. It sounds like I can see that the chairperson is smiling. So I think she might be getting to the end of her report. So let's quickly go over to the Cerrito Geopark, also in Brazil, has an area of 2,800 kilometers. But I'm going to cut off. We're going to come back to Cerrito because I can see the chairperson of the executive board has taken the floor.
The decision that is in the document 214X32. See no objections. Thank you. So now we adopted the report of the PX Commission. I wish to compliment Ambassador Mogherini on her able leadership and management of the PX Commission as a chairperson. And now we will move to the joint meeting of FA and PX, co-chaired by the two chairpersons contained within document 214X33.
And there we have it. That was Tamara Rastovac-Siamashvili of Serbia, who is also chair of the UNESCO Executive Board. And with that gavel coming down, it has been approved that there are 8 new UNESCO Global Geoparks. So congratulations to those 8 regions all around the world. It is now official. The report of the Programme and External Relations Committee has been approved. The gavel has come down. And with that, 8 new UNESCO Global Geoparks have been approved. I feel like we should pop back to hear about Cerrito, because it feels a shame that we had to rush through how wonderful they are. So let's just take a reminder. Cerrito Geopark in Brazil, now a UNESCO Global Geopark. Congratulations to them. They have an area of 2,800 square kilometers, and they are a semi-arid region in they're semi-arid northeastern region of Brazil in the state of Rio Grande do Norte. They have hot semi-arid conditions, and they are responsible for shaping the landscape of the Cerrito region. The geological history includes rocks of a Paleo-Proterozoic age with ortho-derivative rocks, part of the Quechao complex, I believe. They've got Neoproterozoic metasedimentary rocks from the Cryogenian, something I'm very interested in, so I look forward to seeing your Cryogenian rocks. They've got marbles, calcsilicates, quartzites, metaconglomerates, mica schist. There's pegmatites that are dated from 520 million years old, so pegmatites from the Cambrian, and they also have Paleogene, Oligocene rocks, Neocene, Miocene rocks, Quaternary. It sounds like they have a great deal to offer at Cerrito UNESCO Global Geoparks. And let's just congratulate once more the 7 others. That's the Caminos dos Caninos do Sol UNESCO Global Geopark in Brazil, the Kefalonia Ithaca UNESCO Global Geopark in Greece, the Salpozelke Geopark, UNESCO Global Geopark in Finland, the Buzau Land UNESCO Global Geopark in Romania, the Meladal Naturpark, and now UNESCO Global Geopark in Luxembourg, the Platterburgens UNESCO Global Geopark in Sweden, and the Geopark Reese UNESCO Global Geopark in Germany. Thank you to all of you who have joined us from all around the world today and are also joining us for our recorded live stream here of the decisions made by the 214th UNESCO Executive Board. Congratulations to all the staff who have worked so hard over the past years to get to this day. Of course, a reminder, these didn't start today. Dossiers put together years ago by those 8 regions, evaluation missions from 2 UNESCO Global Geopark evaluators visiting those regions. And then, of course, the meeting of the Global Geopark Council last December, where the decisions were made on which geoparks would be put forward to this meeting. They were first discussed at the Programme and External Relations Commission last week, and then we saw the report of that commission being presented a few moments ago, and that was just minutes ago approved by the UNESCO Executive Board. And so we can say that there are officially 8 new UNESCO Global Geoparks. Thank you once more to all those from around the world who have joined us. Thank you to, I can see we've got a message in from Sophia from the Platterburgens Geopark. Congratulations to all of the staff, the volunteers, the people who've been working so hard in their geoparks in recent years. And thank you for commenting, Sophia. Please do follow along to the various feeds that we have here in the Charnwood Forest Geopark. We'd love to hear from you as we take our own journey towards UNESCO Global Geopark. You can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. Our new website will be up in the next few months, and we're very much looking forward to not only working with you as we take our own journey towards UNESCO Global Geopark status, but also hopefully one day joining the club that 8 new geoparks have joined today. With that, I will say thank you very much to everyone who has joined us from around the world. We'll be bringing you continuing live streams throughout the year, bringing you updates on geopark news from around the world, and also live streams on events happening within our lovely Charnwood Forest, aspiring geopark in a wonderful corner of Leicestershire in the heart of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. We're looking forward to sharing that with you, and that's even more of a reason to be following along to our feeds. I can see we've got some more thanks coming in. Thank you to Finland, and congratulations to you once more. And it looks like we've got another person saying thank you there to Bjorn Persson. Apologies again for my pronunciation. Thank you for joining us live today. We should say that the Global Geopark Network will be running an official welcome ceremony for those 8 new geoparks in the next few weeks. Do follow along on social media to the Global Geopark Network if you want to get more updates about that event. It is usually a very special event and a wonderful celebration of not only the geology, but the important culture, intangible, built, cultural and geological from those 8 new areas, as we all join together to celebrate 8 new members of the club. Thank you very much once more for joining us live from the United Kingdom for this live stream of the UNESCO Executive Board. We wish you goodwill and peace, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.